So I want our listeners to know that we can have all the data in the world, but if we don't understand the human being in front of us, we will absolutely miss what actually drives healing.
Let's have a conversation about cognitive decline. Let's have a conversation about physical decline. We're educating masses about the brain and the spine. We're educating people about balance, gait, and decline. Let's have a neuro wellness conversation. Let's have a neuro wellness conversation. Let's have a neuro wellness conversation.
Welcome to Neuro Wellness Conversations, where clinical insight meets lived experience. We're two physical therapists having real conversations about neurologic wellness, nervous system health, and what it takes to support both in everyday life. And today we're going to be talking about AI and wearables and how it fits with physical therapy, and are we measuring healing or are we missing the human?
Right. That's a good topic to have in this particular day and time because we are in the technology age.
Yes, we are. And everything is tech right now.
Everything is tech. And the wearables are a big space right now. Neurotechnology is a huge topic. Um, so yeah, this is very fitting.
Absolutely. So let's talk about a little bit about what data is being looked at. I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest ones is the sleep data.
Yep.
And I say this because I actually advocate for people to understand their sleep score and their recovery scores
Right.
because most people are not sleeping well.
Correct.
And there are some great tools out there
Yes.
that do show people, quickly, like right then and there,
Mm-hmm.
how they're doing. So you
Right.
don't have to go to a doctor's office. You don't have to go to a PT office. You literally can get your results on your app, on your phone, right then and there.
Right. Right.
Tracks it.
Yeah. I remember actually having a patient recently who came to her session and she took out her phone and I was wondering why she took it out. And she's like, I have something to show you.
Ah,
And she wanted to show me her sleep data.
nice.
She was very concerned about, what it meant and the interpretation of the information. So, we spent a few minutes kind of going over that for her to kind of
Mm-hmm.
give her an understanding because you know it's good to have, but you have to know what the data is saying, especially with
Absolutely.
our older population, because I know a lot of them are trying to try some of this new technology and they don't really have a good understanding of it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that for sure I think is a good wearable and a good device and good apps that are
Yeah,
out there for that.
absolutely. And just because we have more data doesn't mean we have that more understanding. So, with your example of your client,
Right.
she needed some extra help to be like, okay, what does this actually mean? Is this good? Is
Exactly.
this bad?
Exactly.
Am I still dysregulated with my nervous system?
Right.
And
Yeah.
you will have people that will say, hey, my sleep score was great, but I still feel tired.
Yeah.
So now we got to do a deeper dive. We can't just
Right.
rely on the technology. We
Yeah.
gotta put things together with what we've been doing normally,
Exactly. Yeah. And I think for a lot of them, they don't really understand, what sleep is,
Oh no.
um, the different the different phases of it. And some
Oh,
of these apps actually show that information, but they don't know what they're looking at.
right.
And I think if they have a better understanding of the information, it can actually be very valuable for them.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes I have to say the app does kind of use big words.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's REM or what's
Yeah.
recovery? what does that mean?
Right. Exactly.
You don't know the lingo, you would be like, okay, I have no idea
Yeah.
what this
And,
is talking about.
and why does it look like I've only been in REM for like 5 minutes?
Right.
Does it mean I'm not sleeping or not sleeping well? Well, how do you feel when you wake up after those few hours of sleep? So
Right.
that's the other thing. It's a conversation to be had, but it's definitely education to be delivered
Yes,
in a lot of people's regard.
I agree. And that's why we have to talk about I like to talk or tell my clients, I need you to track like how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Clarity, are you tired? Are you foggy?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just rely on the technology. You got to really 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 do a deep dive and
Right. Yeah.
understand how you actually feel,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But
That's
we're measuring the body, but we're not always interpreting what the brain is doing, you know.
right. Exactly. Yeah. That's true. So that's so important because, clinically you can do everything right, but
Mhm.
if the system is still overwhelmed, you're not
That's
going to see
so
progress.
that's so
So
true.
that tracking from a personal perspective is so good. And it kind of helps them to understand what their data is saying too. So if you can
Mhm.
see that correlation, you can
Yes,
kind of interpret some of that for yourself after a while. And you won't feel the need to bring in your cell phone every session to
to
have
the clinic.
the therapist kind of interpret that data for you.
That's so funny.
So yeah.
Gosh, that is hilarious.
So let's talk about AI for a second
Yes.
because it's everywhere right now.
Mhm.
We're seeing it in the therapy world. We're
Mhm.
seeing it. I mean, I I like to look at YouTube sometimes, and I mean, AI is just thrown at me at almost every commercial. Um,
Mhm.
so
Yes,
it's the talk right now.
it really is. And there's this big fear that people are like nervous right now because they're it's being put out there that AI is like taking over jobs, and people are like, yeah, in a couple of years I may not even have work
Oh yeah,
because of
yeah,
AI, and
right, yeah,
that's a big concern right
right. Yeah. And I think in some regards, it's a good concern
now.
because there are some jobs that, let's, let's face it, that probably will be significantly influenced by AI.
Mhm.
But we have to remember that it's a tool, you know.
Yes.
It's not gonna replace what I've heard them say is it may change the job. It may
Right.
not necessarily replace the job or the person in the job. So
Mm.
it's good for that person to know how to use it to make their job more efficient. Um,
Mhm.
and they say if you're behind the times and understanding it and keeping up with it, then that's where
Yeah,
you become significantly affected.
I
Um,
agree.
but let's talk about it from the therapy side. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that AI is in regards to therapy, I think it's good for us as clinicians that do documentation.
Yeah.
I think it's great for like some of the software that we use and like predicting outcomes,
Right.
and also movement analysis.
Mhm.
Some of like the remote therapeutic monitoring.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think that movement analysis of gait and how people are doing with their outcomes,
Right.
I think is great in that aspect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think that AI is going to be able to replace a human
No.
because you don't pick up on the emotional stress, the patient's patterns over time,
Mhm.
any like subtle behaviors that AI wouldn't be able to pick up.
Right. Right. Because that's the human perspective of what we do, and why we are valuable in that in the movement space, because we can interpret the human data of how you're feeling or how that expression on your face looks when you're being ranged after a total knee or a total hip, or um interpreting your distress when you
Mhm.
come into a session. If you've had a bad day or a bad night, and you might be fatigued because you didn't sleep well. So those are emotional subtleties that AI can't ever
Mm-mm.
take away from us. So I think from a clinical standpoint, I think we're good. We're very valuable. I
Yes.
do think it's a good tool as well.
Mhm.
um I When I think about AI, I always have a concern because my daughter is a big anti AI person, because she's this environmental person, very very much on trying to make sure that we have a earth for them to survive on. um
Yeah.
so I get it. I get that conversation, and I agree, but I have to say it's been an asset that I've used. I've tried to use it,
Mhm.
um and helping me s- make things more streamlined and seamless, um in a lot of the things that I do, and it has helped in that regard. And from a clinical standpoint, I know there's even apps that help with documentation for us,
Yes.
and anything at this point to help therapists get better at documentation without having to take away time outside
Mhm.
of the clinic, I think is a beautiful thing, because I love what I do. I was telling somebody today in the clinic, I love, love, love what I do.
Mhm.
Absolutely hate the paperwork.
Oh, yeah. Killer, the paperwork.
I said, if we can have therapy without having to do paperwork, this would be the best profession in the world.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, we still have to do paperwork. So we've got to find a way to make it easier
Mhm.
on therapists so that they're not documenting so much outside of their work time and work hours, and non-clinical hours. So
Right. I
a
can
lot of
spend
the
more
apps,
time
yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah.
you
A
know?
lot, a lot of the apps are trying to incorporate AI so that they can assist therapists in that regard, and I think that's great and that's amazing.
Absolutely. I also think about, like, the front desk too, that whole system,
Yeah,
of being able to answer a phone call as an
correct.
AI and take this, normal information, and then that gets, connected to the therapist, and
Right.
you don't even have to really be on the phone
That's true.
making those
That's
phone
true.
calls. Like, so I think that helps the business flow well, and customer, customer engagement, and
Right.
being able to make sure that things are flowing well
Mm-hmm.
so that you can get the best care
Yeah.
in an
Yeah.
efficient way.
Exactly. That's true, because I do know in some of the latest EMR companies that I've communicated with, they are incorporating AI one of the main ways they're doing it is from the front desk perspective.
Mhm.
So I thought that was really, really good. That's going to really make things a lot more efficient and helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, yeah. I didn't think about that, but that's a good point, Doc.
Mhm. Yeah, it's the goal, because the front desk is that's the gold mine right there.
Right.
People into the clinic.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
got that process has to be
Seamless.
immaculate. It's got to
Yeah.
be seamless. Yeah, I like that better.
Yep.
It
Yep.
has to be seamless so that people just know what to do. They know all the steps
Yeah. Right.
in the funnel so that they can get the care that they need. So,
Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
First point of contact when they call,
Yes.
first person they communicate with, so they can actually make or break a clinic.
Absolutely.
So you're so correct in that regard.
No doubt about that. But I think what also concerns me a bit is patients seem to depend on metrics. So
Yes.
they just really look at sleep scores, recovery numbers, but then they're very disconnected to how they actually feel.
Yes. And even clinically, if we're not careful, we start focusing on the numbers instead of function ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things with my patient that came in wanting me to interpret the data for her sleep app.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to, one of the things I always tell him is, how did you feel when you woke up? How
Mm-hmm.
well did you feel like you rested that night? Despite the data.
Yes.
I always ask him, how did you feel? How did you sleep? So they can, like you said earlier, they can interpret it from a personal standpoint, not put so much emphasis on the statistical standpoint or the data
Right.
itself.
Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Conversation always has to be had.
Yep.
Yeah, your numbers could look great, but do you feel good?
Right.
Do you really feel good?
Yeah. Do you feel like you're functioning? Because it comes
Right.
down to function. you know,
Exactly.
how much better are you thinking clearly, or how much better are
Mm-hmm.
you moving? Is your energy well when you get up after the first couple of hours? Because that's
Yes.
also an issue and a concern for a lot of them. I'm
Yes.
okay when I first get up, but 2-3 hours in, I'm zonked. That's not
Yeah.
good. Your
Yeah.
energy isn't going to keep you if you're depleted after a couple. By midday, if you're depleted, then something's wrong.
Yep. And sometimes when I wake up, I can tell if I'm gonna have a good day or not.
Yeah,
I'm feeling exhausted when I woke up. I'm like, okay, yep, this is gonna be a rough day.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
for
sleep well.
sure. For sure, that's the case.
But just being aware, just being like having that mental note, like, okay, I'm not feeling so hot waking up.
Yeah,
I'm already telling myself, okay, I'm gonna do my best today, but I already know I'm tired, so
yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah,
rough.
yeah. Early to bed.
Yes, and yes, that's the plan. I'm going to bed earlier tonight so that I can make sure I feel ready to go
Ready to
and
go the next day.
energized.
And it makes a huge difference because it's
Mhm.
amazing how if you didn't have a good night's sleep, like I had a client, one of my boxing clients,
Mhm.
she did not sleep well one day last week, and so she decided not to come to boxing.
Mhm.
And then she stayed and took a nap, but it made that nap made such a difference
Mhm.
because she felt like her symptoms were just off kilter, so to speak.
I
She
believe that.
she didn't feel good at all. She felt shaky,
Mhm.
um, and so the beauty is she was wise enough to understand her body and know that she didn't need to try to push to go to boxing. She needed to try to stay home and rest, which she did, and she felt better after resting. But sleep is so important,
Yes, it
and I
is.
tell people whether we have a diagnosis or not, if you're not sleeping, you're not functioning.
That is correct.
And that
Mhm.
mental brain fog is a real thing.
Yes, it is.
So you've got to find a way to get sleep. And I heard a scientist say this week, one of the things that he tells his clients is don't try to think about, okay, I'm going to try to go to bed at this hour and I want to try to get up at this hour. Focus on the prospect of getting up the same time
Yes.
every day. He said,
That's
because
right.
what happens is your body is going to start to get to the fatigue level,
Mhm.
and those physiological changes with the melatonin starts
Mhm.
to happen, and that's going to happen at the same time every evening. So you're
That's
going to
correct.
find yourself eventually leveling off. But if you get up at the same time every day, 7 days a week, it's like,
Mhm.
because when you um try to sleep later on the weekends, you think that that's going to help you to catch up, but it
Right.
doesn't.
No, there's no such thing as catching up on sleep,
No such
unfortunately.
thing. So I was like, that makes a lot of sense
It
because,
does.
for one, having one thing that
Mhm.
you focus on, and that one thing is, okay, I'm going to go to bed.
Mhm.
Um, you know, after I get my routine done. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to focus on the clock, but I'm going to try to make sure I get up the next morning at the same time
Correct.
and do that every morning. I was like, that's a valuable piece of information. I thought
Yes.
it was great for even myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do know I have a tendency sometimes to try to sleep in a little bit. I don't really do it, overdo it on the weekends, but I do try to sleep in a little bit because I'm like, okay, I stayed up way later than I should have on Friday evenings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I'm like, I can catch it up over the weekend, but do you
Mm-hmm.
really? I tend to feel better when I
Mm-hmm.
get up at the same time every morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been
I don't,
kind of researching on myself.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think I can. I don't even know what it feels like to sleep in because I just get up at the same time every morning.
Every
Now,
morning.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter if I went to bed late, if I went to bed early.
Yeah.
I wake up at 4:30, clockwork, without
Clockwork.
even having the alarm
And I
on.
think your body knows it anyway, and it starts to get up because my body will go into that phase of awakening at roughly around the same time
Mhm.
myself. So yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. But again, that awareness, it goes back to that again, that awareness of, okay, I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed consistently at a certain time.
Right.
You're thinking about that.
Yeah.
You're not putting it off like, okay, whatever. I go to bed whenever I can. You're like,
Hmm.
no, I am thinking about going to bed consistently at a range of time and
Right.
getting up at a range of time in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a great start. And that's
Right.
how
Right.
the brain loves consistency. I always say this, right? The
Yeah.
brain loves consistency. So if you train the brain to wake up at a certain time every morning,
Hmm.
helping your circadian rhythm. That's
Exactly.
what we're doing.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So you're helping your brain,
Mm-hmm.
having that neurological impact. So
Absolutely.
so where do you see um PT in your viewpoint going with regard to AI and technology?
I think that the future isn't going to be less technology, but I think it's going to be more better integration of the
Mhm.
technology,
Mhm. Mhm.
like using data, interpreting patterns,
Correct.
understanding the nervous system in a way better way.
Mhm.
Um, I'm biased about this, but the future of physical therapy is brain based.
Correct.
That's just what it is. I don't care what nobody say.
There you go.
It's not just
Listen,
about the pain,
right.
emotion. It's not about how strong you are. It's
Nope.
about brain. If you don't
That's
have a
right.
brain working as your control center, none of that counts.
We titled our podcast Neuro Wellness Conversations for a reason.
That's right.
And if you look at the trend of our world right now, neuro wellness is a hot topic
Yes, it is.
and it's not going to change for
No, it's
any time soon. Um, because the future of not just PT, but I think the future of the world is brain based. Um,
absolutely.
because we are realizing that there is so much value in the brain and the brain education, and
Mhm.
because it is the center of control.
Yes, it is.
And so the shift has been happening for quite a while now,
Mhm.
um, for not just treating the body, but understanding things from a whole system perspective. And we've always said it in several of our podcasts that,
Mhm.
we do our teaching, our educating, our working, our consulting with clients, and we think of them from a holistic standpoint.
Correct.
So, the brain is it.
Is it?
We are biased just because we are neurotherapists, but from a statistical perspective, if you look at the research and the information out there, if you look at the trends,
Mm-hmm.
you know, neuro wellness is really, really, really big.
It is. Everywhere you go, it's like, oh,
Yep.
brain health,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of researching like terms that people are looking for
Mm-hmm.
about sleep. How to
Yes.
get my kid to go to sleep.
Right.
What vitamins should I be taking for brain health? What
Right.
food should I be eating for brain health? So people are
Exactly.
starting to, do the research and
Mm-hmm.
figure out, what's going to be working the best for them. But they
Right.
understanding that the brain is a very important organ.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
non-negotiable.
It's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable.
Yes. So I want our listeners to know that we can have all the data in the world, but if we don't understand the human being in front of us, we will absolutely miss what actually drives healing.
And that's real. So the question becomes, are we becoming more data driven or
Or more human aware.
because the best clinicians will learn how to do both?
Now that's the truth. We got to
Yes,
integrate it. We have to integrate what we do with AI.
absolutely. There you go.
So there's no one or the other.
No,
I just don't see that happening.
no. It's going to be a balance of the two for
Uh,
sure.
yes. So thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Neuro Wellness Conversations.
If this episode resonated with you, share it with a colleague, share it with a friend, or with another clinician.
And as always, think clearly, function fully, and live
Live.
well. Until next time.
Until next time. Thank you for listening to Neuro Wellness Conversations, where clinical insight meets lived experience. If today's conversation resonated with you, share this episode with someone who could benefit. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future conversations on neurologic wellness and nervous system health. Until next time, keep supporting the nervous system that supports you.
Let's have a conversation about cognitive decline. Let's have a conversation about